Hey guys, welcome back to day 60 part 2 of the Devlog. Welcome to you guys in the chat who are watching. And today, or tonight, we are going to carry on with what we're doing, right? Now, I didn't spend all afternoon doing absolutely nothing. I did have a look at a couple of things, which was basically having a look at our storage item, which is this thing here, and how to take the left click out of the hands of the controller. Okay, now I did get it to I did manage to get it to do that, but I can't fire this on mouse button down for some reason. Okay, now the interesting thing here would be, yeah, I didn't think I would be able to do this mouse event on mouse button down, right, is the thing that is messing us up, right? So I'm going to show you this so that you guys can possibly use it, but I've still got a bit of work to do to figure out basically how to do it, right, within the confines of the way this actually works, right? So if we want to override our left mouse button, which is an action, okay, what we can do is say listen for input action, okay, and I'll show you this in action, right? So what we can do is we can say listen for action, right? And then what we can do is we can say it's fire arrow, right? That's the name of the action. Then we can say consume. Then we can add a custom event, right? And we can call this, let's say, go. This goes into the callback, okay? And then we can do something, okay? But the problem is that we can't call the mouse down, okay? But this is how you do it. So if I wanted this to basically snatch all the input from our left button, I can show you that working, right? So I'll show you how the logic works for this, right? So we'll put a breakpoint on this, okay, and we'll compile it. Now I'll show you in our pawn, this is our fire arrow, right? And this is what's going to consume it first. So if I didn't have that listen, then this would just fire this and basically not do anything because I wouldn't be in aiming mode, okay? But because we've told our storage item to listen for this and consume it, it will. So I can show you that in action. As I said, we've not got as far as to get this to do the drag drop yet, right? But we have got it so that we can actually grab the input. Okay, so if I now do that, you'll notice that we go straight to print string. Okay, so we ignore the player controller and actually just grab this. Okay, so if you've got a lot of stuff tied to your left mouse button, this is a way to override it. and you can set up priorities of which one is the most prioritized. Okay, highest number first. Okay, but there is a little trick for you that I learned this afternoon, and you guys can use that in your arsenal. Okay, so hopefully that might be of some use to some of you guys, but at the moment it's going to have to go back in my pocket as a tool because it isn't doing what I need it to do, even though I'm grabbing the input. Okay, now what we discussed earlier is we're going to have to tidy this up, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to tidy that up first. Okay, so we're just going to call it brush. You'll notice here that I was working with trying to get pointer events and stuff to fire, but couldn't really get it to work. So this is going to be a slate brush. Okay. And we're going to set it. By making one brush right, so actually we're going to delete that, and what we're going to do is we're going to plug that into there. Okay, and then we're going to delete these, and that basically becomes our slate brush. Okay, so what we can do, we don't actually need to do that. What we could do is do it here, right? And just plug that in there and that in there. But we'll just do it the proper way, I suppose. Right? And basically cut these and then plug them in basically over here. Okay, and then finally, after we've done this, as I said, this is just a matter of tidying this up, right? After we've done this, okay, so we can basically move these. Come on. Down to here. We can move this to here. We can move that to there. And that's a lot tidier looking than that spaghetti mess. Okay. So, spaghetti mess is away. And we now need to go into our storage unit. And it's our storage item. And it's on drop. Okay, this is the part that we were working on earlier. So we're going to complete this now. And what we're doing here is we're returning next empty. Okay? And we're going to plug these in because we want to do the break. Okay? Because once we find our first empty one, then we're basically just going to jump out. Okay? Right. So basically we're going to grab that and then we're going to straighten it. Okay. So we've got our next one to check. Okay. And then what we've got to do is we've got to get the parent, then our actual container, right, and then the storage items, right, and then we've got to get a copy. I'm going to move this along a bit, and it's going to be this index to check. Okay. Oops. So we're going to do that. And well, we're going to break this. Hi, Aero Career. It's not early morning for me, I'm afraid. It's actually 8 in the evening. So we are now going to say is valid on the image because we know that works for us. Okay. These are going to go in here. We'll tidy up again in a minute or two. Right, but this one we're going to say hide unconnected pins. Ah, you're in India. Ah, it's, well, early morning for you then, aye? Cool. Get quite a lot of viewers from India. Always welcome, of course. So, if it's not valid, then we can actually use that index, right? This basically can go to here. We don't actually need a break. All we need to do is a return on this one. Nah, we shouldn't do that. We should break. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'll just build this out and then we'll place it in the right place. Right, so that's going to go there. Okay. Now, when we're complete, we do that. And this is all going to be great fun. I'm hoping. Right, so if it's false, it goes to the break. Okay. Drag that up, out the way. Then we'll drag this up. Okay, and now we shall kind of test this. Okay. So, on drop, right, what we're going to do is return next empty. Okay. And find out what it actually gives us. And the start index is the container index. And we're going to see what we get, right? We've got a... yeah. So that's right. We're not going to do that, but we are going to set this. We're not going to do that either. Okay. But in here, we are going to set our temp container index. And that's going to go in there. And in there. Now, in theory, right, temp container index is not going to be that. Temp container index, well, I shouldn't have taken that out, but anyway. Temp container index is going to start as container index. Okay, and then once we move up, then so the first time it comes through, we're going to set it in the temp. This is going to be temp container index. Now I'm going to change the name of this because it's not really a count anymore, right? But we can do that in a minute once we start testing it. Okay. We're going to add a breakpoint here. We're going to compile it. And then let's see if it works. It won't, but then we'll bug fix it and find out why it's not working. But we can be confident. Well, as confident as we can be. Right, so the way I've built this, right, if I place one here, it should place it here and here. okay? If I place it here, it should place it here and here, okay? So, I've got to go and pick up stuff so that I can put it in, like, but... So we take that, right? So we drag that, okay, that's what we wanted. We wanted our breakpoint there, so that's fine. We step over and we see what we get. Now, I'm hoping it says 3. Oh yeah, there it is. Number 3. Right, so if we resume that, resume, there we go. Okay, now what we can do is we can drag these back, right, and drag them here, right. I'm going to resume that, resume, there it is. Okay, pretty cool, huh? So you can see it's looping back into the right order, checking these to make sure to see if they're valid or not, and then basically placing them. Okay. Now remember, it checks first to see if there's enough spaces, right? So that's why I can basically loop round once I know that, because I know that there's enough space for them to go there, so I know there's enough empty ones, right? But as you can see, all good. Okay, so now, all we do now is tidy it up a bit if it needs it. Which it doesn't need a lot of, but now the last thing we need to do is we don't have a recalculate for this, right? Disable breakpoint, disable breakpoint, okay, save that, and we're not using storage size here, so we can take that out. We can straighten this connection here. Okay, and I think what we'll do here is we'll move the weight calculations into our functions, our function library, okay? So first thing I'll do is I'll check to see where this actually is. You can see here we've got it in recalculate carried, right? So basically all I need to do is copy this code here, right? And then we can go into our function libraries. Okay. Then we can add this function called calculate weight, and we're going to have a variable called temp weight, and that is going to be a float. Then we're going to paste it in here. Now, does this give us a weight back? Not really. But it does it recalculates it there for the... Now, we're going to have to pass in the pawn. Well, we're either going to have to pass in the pawn or get the pawn ourselves. Right? I think we'll just pass in the pawn. Okay, so we need to use the pawn there and there. Okay? So... will we just get it here? We can always just get it here. I don't like doing that. Okay. We'll just add an input. Okay. We'll just do pawn. And the next thing we're going to do is Groenland. And that's going to be the pawn. Then inventory. In fact, what we'll do is we'll just say get pawn. And we'll say inventory. Right. And go there. Take that one out. And that's fine for that. Then we're going to get the pawn again. And main, get main attributes. And then main attributes, except this time we're setting it. Okay. Going to delete that. I'm going to put a reroute node there. Then we'll drag that up. And then drag that up. Then straighten this one. Okay. And kabow. Okay. So our next port of call. So we just basically saved that, right? And after this, right, this is us dropping it on. So for this, right, we're going to say recalc weight, right, now we're going to need the pawn for this, so we just pull in ref car and job's a good one. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom event that's going to update our weight. Hi Izuku Midoriya, and probably, I'm sorry I just butchered that, right? So in our BP storage unit, okay, now this is the storage item. Okay, we do fill in the weight, as you can see. And the weight is in the storage inventory slots. Okay, so basically we're going to have to go to our storage inventory slots and create something in there, right? At which point we're going to create a custom event, add custom event, then update weight. Okay, and in here let's just do our input, right, so that we don't need to muck about. So we can say pawn, and we can say Groenland pawn. Okay, and we can say main, get main attributes, then we can break that. Okay, and then we're going to get our weight carried. Okay, so what we'll do to keep that alive, add a refresh, add a reroute node, then hide unconnected pins, right? And this is our text weight 1, which is this thing here, and we're going to rename it because text weight 1 is silly. Let's call it weight carried. Okay, compile that, go back to our graph, get this in, set text weight no, we didn't want to do that. We get that, then set text, okay, and that's going to go in there. Now we are going to append the kilograms onto the end of that, but I'm not going to do it just yet. I'm going to test it all first. Okay, it would kind of make sense to do it that way, but in the meantime what we'll do is we shall right align this, line right, we'll drag this out and delete that for now, put that back in there. drag that down a bit. Drag this over a bit. Okay. So now, if we go back to our storage items, right, we can get our parent then we can storage inventory slots, and update weight. Okay. And then our pawn goes in there. And that should be us. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is, I believe, test it. Right. So take that, take that. R that. We've got our 2.25, right? Which I don't think sounds very right, but we'll worry about that later. We'll see if it actually does something. Yep, certainly does. Now we need to do it the other way when we do it back the way. Okay, but certainly we're doing that. Now this seems to be right, whatever. Okay, so that works, but we need to do it in our inventory as well. So we basically copy this, then we go in here, right, we paste it, hook it up, drag this out a bit. Now the question is, do we have ref char? And apparently we don't. Okay. So what we need to do is get ref char. Okay. Which, as you've seen, was as simple as that. Now it's just a case of plugging it in. adding a bit of a thing there. And that's looking good. Save that. Oh, doesn't like that at all. Okay. Has this got a parent? Apparently not. Oh, right, so we're also doing that. And there we go. Okay, rock and roll. So now what we can do is we can press play. We can go like that. I've got 0, 8, 1, 2. Okay. Excellent. So as you see, this will auto place these around stuff, right? And auto update our weight. So that's working really nicely. I've not done these sorting buttons yet, which I'm obviously going to have to do, but we can sort out that in a minute if we want. But I believe it's time for a cigarette break. So if you're enjoying this, guys, hit the like and subscribe. It would help a lot and I would appreciate it. Also check out the description for links to the Discord server for the game and for my personal Discord server. It also has a link to my Patreon and finally has a link to my previous game on Steam, which is available for $1. I shall be back in 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Okay guys, we are back. So, what will we work on next? Any guys in the chat? Anything you guys want to see or want to see me working on, or an explanation or anything like that? Let me know and we can take a look. Okay, so without further ado, we have pretty much nearly fixed up our items and our storage drag and drop stuff. Right, now what we could do here is do our sort buttons. Okay, we could do our sorting buttons. We've done our exit button. Now all we need to do from here is we've actually got our sort buttons ready to go. Okay, and I think all we need to do, right, is basically amend this inventory grid. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go in here, right, and we shall amend this. So in our inventory grid, we're going to add 2 inputs, right? So one is going to be show all, and our other one is going to be our item type, which is going to be interactive, and at the start it is enum, and we're going to save that. Okay, all our other code's going to stay the same, but in our event graph you can see here that on construction we're going to say show all. Okay, and then in here, well actually in here we're going to duplicate that and drag it down. Yeah, 800, we're doing well. It was quite funny actually, because we nearly hit it last night and I was sitting on 799 from last night all the way to today's stream. I'm good. We've got a lot of stuff working basically, and I'll show you in a second, right? You'll have remembered, actually you probably didn't, or maybe you did. I'm tidying up the storage container so that it works across the board, right? So that absolutely everything that needs to work works, right? So basically this is me adding the sorting to it, but I'll show you, it's quite cool. It does a few things a bit clever, right? Now I think we've added a little bit of complexity into this. Right? And we're going to have to do a little bit of extra work here, I think. Now, if we go to storage items, you'll notice that we actually need these two variables. Okay? But what we'll do is we'll sort this out first, and then we'll do the final part of our tidy up. Okay, so here's what I've done. Right, so if we pick up these, right, and we go to our storage container, we can go in here, right? Now, if we drag and drop these in, it does that, right? It's going to split them up because this is going to just take 16 items, right? It doesn't matter about the weight. Okay? Now, the clever part is that if I drop them here, it automatically gets the right spot. Okay? If I drop them here, it automatically gets the right spot. Okay? Now, the interesting thing here is if I click that, that didn't do anything. And that didn't do anything either. So, we stop that, right? And we find out what's going on, basically. Get storage unit. Ah, that shouldn't be show all, that should be item type. I don't think you'll get to the end. However, the point is, how are you enjoying the game? And how are you doing in the world leaderboards? I've not had a look at them for a while. Right, so this should work now. Right, so if I hit that, it's not doing it. It's not clearing these when it should. I'm also going to have to do something with that, right? So I might need to center this because of the sorting thing. Either that or I take that sorting thing out. Right. Ah, should I just have hit? Fill inventory grid. Right. Ah, it's because I've not coded the darn thing yet. What a blimmin' idiot. Right. So, we branch on this. Okay. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. If show all is true, right, we just basically do that. Oh, come on. Let's do it properly. Let's do it properly. Right. Right. So if that's true, we do that. Right? If it's false, we check this. Right? So we say equals. And we do that. And if that's true, we do that. Okay. And what we'll do here is we'll straighten the connection to equals. That's good. Right. All good. Let's test this again. Thank you, Dato Seladze, by the way, for the subscription. I don't normally remember to shout anybody out, and I don't normally get all the it normally doesn't let me know if somebody's subscribed. It normally just like I notice later, or it shows me on like a YouTube notification, like after the fact. But I think we're up to 803, and I think I forgot to pick stuff up. Right. Right. So we go in there, and there we go. There we go. Nothing. There we go. So that's now all working. Okay. This actually doesn't really need to be in a scroll box, but we'll worry about that later. But yeah, that's now basically everything done for that. Okay. So we can now craft, store, do all of that stuff, and it's all working okay. Now, is there anybody in the chat who wants to see anything in particular again? Because I'm kind of finished what I thought was going to be on the stream. I didn't have anything else for the moment because I'm waiting on animations for the target, the aim offset, right? So what else could we work on? Right, let's have a look. I want to see how's the combat? I'm about to shoot. Right. There's combat for you. Right, where? Oh, there's our stag there, right? So, if I can manage to hit this darn thing, there we go. Right, but the problem was that I need to shoot it faster for a very good reason. Don't be running away like that. Where's the monster? Right, because arrow cam should be on. Right. What's turning arrow cam off? That's what I want to know. Because it shouldn't be off. Just for a laugh, right? We'll take that one away. Because it's not really a good monster anyway. Right. There we go. But that didn't really work either. For some reason that's adding an impulse. Right, which it shouldn't have done. What I should really do is we should get our deer, right? Now, the problem here might be that I've not brought it in from the helper. Jess, by the way, how are you? Right. So you can see that works well. So there's combat for you. And then what you can do is you can skin it. And then that gives you food. And then you can eat the food. Or, I don't know how much you've seen of this, Jess, anyway. Right, but you can take that and then light fires. And it'll go straight out because the time at the moment is about going at about 100 miles an hour. Right? But if we were to go to here and put up the actual time, right, and then if we were to check out our button for the HUD, which I can't remember which one it is. Oh, it's not that. It's a there was a button. It was hide HUD, wasn't it? I had a button for this that did it. I can't remember what it was now, but it was actually in the actions, right? So I'm gonna have to go in here sit down, show hide HUD L. I knew it was over that side of the keyboard, but I couldn't remember where. Right. Apparently it doesn't work. What? Okay. Show hide HUD. Right, apparently I took it out or something. Or somebody took it out or something. Right. Okay. Switch on HUD. Right. So we're going to flip-flop on this. Show HUD. Okay, it's no show HUD. What's it called? Switch on HUD. Switch on HUD. Now the interesting thing here is, have I got a switch off HUD? I don't believe I have. Right, so what we'll do is custom event. We'll call it switch off HUD. Right? And basically it's this thing here. I think. I don't know if I can actually. Just say hidden. Right, I need to check that. Can you say switch off HUD? Right, this is going to need a bit of work because because you're starting the game like stopped, then we don't want the HUD shown and we don't want all the timers running. We just want certain things to be working so that you're not losing health and everything while the game is just basically showing you the title screen. But yeah, there's that. Right, so if we hit L, there we go. There's weird stuff going on with that. Right, hang on a second. Is there a B? Well, there's got to be, but no, apparently there's not a BP HUD. I guess it's just it's just our clock that's kind of weird. I'm getting the feeling it's drawn a couple of these or something, right? But the clock's a bit weird. But let's not worry about that for the now. Right. So I'm not sure if, yeah, this is updating this, right? So it's kind of firing it twice, or it's kind of firing it every time. So there needs to be a couple of checks on that, right? That isn't necessarily. See, I think this is already drawn, right? So we don't actually do this. Right, so switch on HUD. It doesn't do that. Right? shouldn't really start on this, but switching on the HUD should just make it visible. Okay. So basically we should do that. Then refresh. And refresh. Refresh this one. Oh yeah. We should be duplicating that. And that should go in there. That should be visible. That should be hidden. Right. So we'll do that. And L. Right, now the thing is, right, it's because we don't have it, right? So in theory, do once. And that's not what I wanted, but it kind of is. Right? As I said, this needs all looked at, and the problem with this is just trying to get this to work is not the answer, right? The answer is to actually do what I should be doing here. Right? But anyway, so this should be like switch on HUD. Okay. So this is like a case of just make it work. And you can see there that it's working. Okay. Right, and so there's combat for you, Jess. That's working well. Okay. We have our crafting set up where you can craft stuff if you've got the ingredients. You've got, so we can pick up food, right? And we can make more food, so we can make this. You'll notice we've not got our other stuff anymore, but we have got this. Okay. Then once we've done that, we can go over to our storage container. And store it in there. Okay. We can shoot stuff. We can spawn monsters depending on the time. All of that stuff's working. We can climb up ladders. We can light fires. We can actually not only do that, but we can light arrows. Right? If I take that, right? You'll see this in a second. Right? And if I... Oh, our fires went out. You can actually light the fires, right? I'll let you check on that to see why that fire's going out. I'm not worried about that. As I said, I need to do stuff with the HUD anyway, because as I said, you start the game off and the HUD shouldn't be operational. And I'm going to need to write the code for that as like an event. And then basically if you save the game, then it will be operational. Okay, but I'm going to call it there. I'm going to think of something for tomorrow to show you guys and work on. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. I appreciate it a lot. Check the description for links to the game's Discord, Jess, and also my personal one, and also the Patreon, where you can support the channel, and my previous game on Steam, which is available for $1. So I shall catch you tomorrow, 2 PM Central. Thank you guys for watching, and bye bye for now.